Marcy McNeil, Digital Media Supervisor for Mobile County Public School System, and we are technically speaking with the Pouliot's today. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Pouliot.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being on the show. You know, I said when we talk to teachers to relate to parents and just kind of put everybody at ease, we have to have the Pouliot's because you guys cover every instance in Mobile County. You are teachers, you are parents of six children, and some of which are in the school system. Right. So let's start from there. When you heard you're going to have to go home, not only for you're both going to have to be at home, but then your children are going to have to be at home with you. What went through your mind? How did you handle it?
Well, I was kind of naively optimistic because I'm an elementary school teacher and a media specialist, and I have always dreamed of being able to teach my own children, right? And so this was kind of an opportunity for me to get to do that, to get to be on the clock per se, but be at home with my crew and see what I got to do with them. And right. I was kind of eager, but part of that was also knowing that my husband would be at home to help. It's not just me trying to do it all. So that was
well. Okay, let's tell the audience. Ms. Pouliot is an elementary teacher at Mary B. Austin. Mr. Pouliot is a high school teacher at Davidson High School. That's a big difference because how old is your oldest child?
16.
16. Okay, well, you can kind of handle that part, but then
that's right.
All the little ones, you know, how did you handle it, Mr. Pouliot?
Yeah, I think kind of the same. Initially you're worried about getting, supplies and making sure you have everything you need to be in the house for a while. And you're kind of thinking in a way it's sort of like a camping trip and it's going to be, a lot of fun and getting to hang out with your kids. But I think pretty quickly you realize that it's a lot of work for 24 hours a day to be not only responsible for making sure that everybody gets enough to eat and gets bathed, but now you're also, having that additional responsibility of making sure that they're learning something while they're at home. And that really is where I think it surprised me the amount of work that it takes to make sure that learning continues.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had double duty because you had to make sure that your classrooms, your students had the online resources. And then you had to come home and make sure your children were doing the online resources while keeping up with your classes. How do you do it?
We got to have the benefit of our great custodial staff to come behind us and help clean up. We have to clean up our own messes. It's crazy.
I know. We are really missing them. I'm telling you for sure. But how do you do it? What do you advise or want to tell other parents who only have maybe one or two children and they're like, and you're over there with 6?
On my end anyways, Patrick is a student at Davidson. He's a sophomore. And his teachers have continued, in particular his history teacher has continued doing lectures through Zoom. And then his physics and Algebra 2 teachers have done stuff on Google Classroom. So really for him, it's just making sure he stays on schedule, that he's keeping up with the work that's been assigned for now. And so for me, that's been the main issue. Now, one of the things that I would like to do is kind of maybe supplement what he's learning, especially in history, since I'm a social studies teacher, finding good documentaries that go along with what he's learning in AP history, and just making sure that he's prepared for his AP test when it comes around.
Right. And that's another, I know parents of high schoolers are really concerned because this is very crucial time.
Sure.
He's a junior?
Sophomore.
Sophomore, yeah. And it's a crucial time because, like you said, they have to get ready for, APs and all their other tests, ACTs, and the seniors. I mean, do you have a senior class as well?
I have all senior classes, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, and I was kind of reflecting on that yesterday about, I really feel for those guys because, all the experiences that you have your spring semester of your senior year, when you really start hitting those meetings, and we have the senior breakfast every year,
Right.
that are such a big deal, that where you make those memories of what high school was about for you, and those lasting friendships you make, and they're kind of getting robbed of that in a way. And I was kind of reflecting on that. Fortunately, he's only a sophomore, so on our end, he's not missing out on that. But I really do feel for those seniors that are missing out, maybe their last sports year as well.
Yes, I do too. It is, at this time of your life, prom is important.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're owed that. Exactly. Okay, well, Ms. Pouliot, what about you and your little ones? I know at Mary B. Austin, you guys are all about the technology, so it was very smooth and easy transition for the bees.
I do want to give a shout out to my faculty and my peer faculty members and our staff, because I was so impressed when we found out, the distance learning is not necessarily the perfect format for an elementary rollout. Elementary is so much hands-on, so much the relationship, the rapport between the teacher and the students, and that's somewhat compromised when it's a digital distance learning. But our teachers stepped up, and they have just blown me away with their dedication, and you give us 24 hours and we've got the content created for the next 8 weeks. It's impressive.
I always tell, and I tell Mr. Pouliot, because we work together with the broadcast, I tell them, if I give elementary teachers something, they will take it and run. You guys you'll do it all. It's
so true. It blows me away every time. I love that I get to be part of it, and I'm inspired by my coworkers. But my role at Mary B. Austin is a unique one in the communication lab. So I didn't have a classroom per se to prepare for, but what I did was I looked at the tools that I have introduced the students to, and I've created kind of challenges for them. It's Lanyap. It's something that they can do to own their learning. Right. So the main focus will be completing whatever the homeroom teacher gives them, but for those eager go-getters who are looking for something else to do, I've kind of given them some ideas of how to take things that I've introduced them to in the communication lab and extend upon it at home. And so one of those things would be PowerPoint. In first grade, I teach all of the first graders how to create PowerPoints. And so from first grade on, those students know how to do that. And so I've kind of challenged them to take a little bit of time, 5 minutes a day, and create a new slide where they journal about their day. So they're practicing their good typing fingers, and they're making sure to capitalize and space and punctuate and all of that by creating a new slide in PowerPoint. And then that's just a few minutes every day, but then by the end, you've got this nice little journal that you could share with others, insert images, change transitions, and make it as cool and fun as you want to. Highlight your spelling words or whatever your focus is on the week. So that's one way that I feel like they can use technology to own their learning, create their own content. It's not just about having a technology tool. It's about still kind of creating your own content, owning your learning, and making your mark using technology.
I'm so glad you said that. Because I feel like parents are scared, like, okay, what is iReady? What is Google Classroom? And they're like, I don't want to mess it up. But mostly all of them know how to do a PowerPoint or pull up Word and let your child learn how to type. This is the excellent time. This is a great time for them to just learn how to type, your young ones. And well, maybe some of your older ones too, but just a simple thing. Simple thing, just learning how to type or learning how to use PowerPoint, Word, and just things that we already know, things that won't scare parents. That's the key. And it can be something that builds. So yesterday with my 5th grader, and my kindergartner, we worked on writing, and so we talked about sentences and then paragraphs. And so my kindergartner was trying to do multiple sentences, while my 5th grader was trying to do a little essay, a 5-paragraph essay. So yesterday she handwrote it. Well, today we'll look at it together and edit and revise it. This is just on paper, something parents are comfortable with. Well, then tomorrow we'll open up a Word document and she'll type it. And then we can go back and do the same thing there. Where were there errors on the Word document? And so it's something that is greatly beneficial, because as she progresses in her education, more and more she's going to have to be typing papers and whatnot. So it'll be more comfortable to her, because
at home during this time, during this window, this opportunity, she'll get to comfortably, explore that and and get used to seeing the red line helping her out with spelling errors and blue lines suggesting that she tighten up her wording and stuff like that.
Yeah, or suggesting another word. That happens to me all the time. One of the things I think parents were kind of nervous about, how long...
I like what I put.
I know. This is a word, I promise you. But some of the things I think a parent was kind of nervous about, should they be on the computer all day? And I know they're supposed to be doing work, and I know that MCPSS has sent home these online resources. How do you deal with that? Because, when my teenager is on for 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, yay, that's enough for me. But how do you suggest that and help them with that? How long should they be on,
I don't think they should be on there too often. I mean, the research is showing that too much screen time is really detrimental to brain development. So I think we need to be smart about the screen time. I mean, yes, screen time, we as parents need screen time to give us a break sometimes, right. But that should be, in doses. So they've got their iReady 30 minutes for reading and iReady 30 minutes for math for elementary, at least. I know that. And that's independent screen time where they're working. And then maybe you're creating a PowerPoint, or maybe you are doing a Word document, or maybe you're making an iMovie where you are kind of taking pictures of your step-by-step baking that you're doing with mom, where you're applying your math skills to make the muffins, or with dad, grilling, whatever. But so the technology can be a part of it, but it doesn't need to be a mindless technology, where it's just a game and hours pass. It needs to be something where it's an opportunity for them to kind of chronicle their time and show what they're doing. And it needs to be something that allows them to kind of grow.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Now, on your part, Mr. Pouliot, it's a little different because you're the age you teach, they don't want to let it go.
That's right. And really a good solution for that I've found, because as a parent, especially right now, I imagine, everyone that has a teenager is frustrated about the amount of time that they spend on Xbox or PlayStation, and you really get tired of telling them to get off and then hearing, well, let me finish this game, and then finishing this game turns into 3 hours later, and the management that goes into trying to get them to just turn it off is so difficult. And what I found on the last 2 routers that we've had, we're with Comcast now, so we have a Comcast router. But before we had a Netgear, a lot of these routers now come with parental controls, and you can actually set a time limit for the device. And so on ours, we've set an Xbox time limit. And when Patrick reaches that, and so we don't have to say, all right, Patrick, your time's up, it's time to get off. He gets off because, there's no internet, and with no internet, you can't play with friends. You can't play the online games that you've been enjoying. And so managing it becomes a lot less telling him what to do and a lot more kind of conditioning him to act in certain ways just based on what's available to him. And so I think a lot of parents could relieve a lot of stress from having to constantly preach at their kids to get off of whatever games they're on, just by setting those device limits, and then it manages itself. They'll find something else to do. Yeah, it worked for us, and it is, it is frustrating still on some days, but for the most part, when it's off, he goes to something else, and so that becomes, managing every device. So you might want to turn Netflix off after a certain number of hours as well, and but there are tools out there that can make your job, tell them what they need to be doing, remind them. And then you can kind of forget about it in a way because the limits are already set. So
that's a great idea. During the school, when the students are in school, I normally take my junior's phone at night because I want him to sleep. And it's
That's right.
amazing. If I leave that phone on, how much it'll buzz and beep. And I'm like, why aren't these children asleep?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
It's
that
constant.
is a perfect idea because they don't realize, I've when we first started and I was getting my parents together at 3:00 in the morning, I was like, what is that? He's up on the game because he is enjoying himself. So
That's right.
Yeah, we were like, everybody else wants to go to sleep. 3:00 is crazy.
We come up with some boundaries here.
Yeah, that's a great idea because I do want to sleep. I could just set that schedule and then I don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
No internet.
And they're going to tell you that they're the only ones whose parents do that. And that's okay. You say, you're welcome. You're welcome. I love you so much.
I love that. That's right. I've heard it all. This is my youngest. I have 3 and he has worn me down. My husband and I look at each other. We're like, we're just tired.
That's right.
So I like that idea about, scheduling a time. Both of you do student broadcasting, which is great because your students in your broadcast class, this is an ideal time for them. I mean, are they videotaping and making little shows? Have you heard anything?
Yes, actually at Mary B. Austin, my girls have created the morning buzz for today. So yeah, so it's been posted on our school Facebook page and it goes on at 8:15 in the morning, kind of like if we were still in school. And so we've had different students with their families filming little morning buzzes and sending it in, and we've been airing them every day. And my partner teacher, Maria Granowski, she's really done a great job of kind of lining up a little schedule. And so we're keeping that normalcy per se. And it's neat to see the different environments that the kids are filming from.
Oh, that is.
I had a sneak peek of tomorrow's, and they had the boys who are doing it. They have their dog to the fire hydrant, and the child speaking for the dog off camera, and the dog looks at the camera. It's so cute. So that, our broadcasting kids they're ready for this moment.
Yeah, you know what? I think.
But really, all of the kids in the school are excited about it.
I think it's great, and people don't realize how much students really learn from broadcasting and how much they really gain. I mean, you guys aren't just playing in front of a camera. You guys are really teaching in the broadcasting field. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Mr. Pouliot?
Yeah. Now, our class is really focused on using the Adobe suite of programs. So mainly Premiere, but also Photoshop. And one of the neat things that we're going to get to do, we've been told to wait till April 6th before we roll anything out. But by being a student in the class, they actually have access to these programs at home. And so I'm looking forward to kind of giving them projects to work on, allowing them to use those programs and kind of expand their knowledge of what they can do with those programs from their house. I think up until this point, I think absent, being quarantined, they haven't really invested the time in doing that yet. And I think we're getting ready to see, I believe we're going to see some really creative projects coming out of their house because it's just a different environment to work in.
Right.
And so I'm looking forward to that, and it's great too that they'll be able to work on their projects. We're using OneDrive, and they each have a portfolio in OneDrive in our class, and so we have all of their work that they've worked on. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they create at home versus what they create at school, and I really think that we're going to get some really good stuff out of that. Me and Mr. Duke have been looking forward to seeing what they create.
Yeah, I do too. I think, going from elementary with Mrs. Pouliot and the excitement, and then coming up to you and learning the expertise and the different things, and even being able to possibly be Adobe certified. That's huge. Getting a certification possibly.
Yeah, I agree.
In editing, that's a job.
It is. It really is. And we've found that our kids enjoy that part of it the most. sort of the what they can create with the software. They like going out in the hallways and doing interviews, and they like, getting in front of the green screen. But I think really where they enjoy getting to sort of express their creative side is through the software editing side, because Premiere is such a powerful program, and you really can't reach the bottom of what you can do with the program. They learn new stuff every time they use it, and I feel like they've really enjoyed focusing on that. And so we're taking those skills that they're learning at middle school and in elementary, and we're giving them just another tool they can use to kind of polish up their projects and what they can create.
I can't wait to see it. Are you both of you, do you have students entering in the film festival this year?
We do,
yeah.
Yes. We have very many films submitted from Mary Beals. We're crossing our fingers it all gets to take place because they're all eager. And teachers too. It's not just the students. We have a lot of teachers who have submitted some great documentaries or comedies.
I know. But I talked to Mr. Tolbert the other day, and he had a great suggestion. He was like, well, it is a film festival. We could do it virtually. And I was like,
yeah, really?
Yes, we could. We could.
Pop our own
great.
popcorn.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Do you guys have a friendly family competition during film festival time?
Well, it's easier for us because his submissions would be high school submissions and mine would be elementary. I know. Unless we were both doing a teacher.
I know. When is that going to happen? We want to see it.
We have
I don't know. I know Miss Pouliot is more comfortable in front of the camera. She's done some on camera. Yeah. I don't know about Mitch. You haven't really. Have you done any on camera really? Have the students make you get on camera?
No, not really.
Not really.
I'm usually behind the camera. Maybe we could team up.
I had an idea for a funny where we would merge, and he was like, I'm not in front of the camera. If you're an elementary school teacher, that's part of the job, is being able to put on the hat and perform. So not as much in high school. It's like, no.
I know. They're not. All of a sudden, it becomes lame. I don't understand. Well, I tell you what's not lame is what you guys are doing. We really, really enjoy you. Your students love you, and I know they miss you. Is there anything you want to leave with your students before we get off? Tell your students. I know you talk to them a lot, communicating online, but
sure.
Any advice you want to give?
Wow.
Especially you, Mr. Pouliot, with this.
For my kids. Yeah, for my kids, I know that it probably started out like the dream vacation, right? You get an extra. I've heard it referred to as the best senior skip day in history. But I know probably by this point it's kind of setting in that the stuff that they're missing out on. And I was talking with a co-teacher yesterday, and we're talking about how much we really miss the kids. We've had great classes, and it's tough not getting to see those faces that you see every day. Yeah. And hopefully they feel the same way about me. But I look forward to, and I really hope that we can get back together before the year's over. If nothing else, then for graduation even, and just get to see them again and tell them, how much I appreciate them being in my class, how proud of them I am for kind of making it through this tough time that, I certainly never had to deal with adversity like this. So I'm proud of them for hanging in there, and their future's only going to get brighter as they continue on, and hopefully they'll continue with their education or training in some way, get a skill. I preach that a lot. Make sure you get a skill or education right. that makes you employable and find what it is that you're passionate about, and really invest your time in that. And so I just hope that they take this time to do that. Maybe clean up those plans that they had been putting on the back burner. Now's a good time to finalize those plans and make some decisions, and I look forward to seeing them again.
That's great. Ms. Pouliot, you want to say anything to your little...
I would just say, yeah, I would just say that, of course, I miss seeing you every day, and I miss getting to give you big hugs and high fives and pull your loose teeth and all that good stuff. But I hope that they seize this opportunity to be at home with their families, and that they go on walks together, that they teach their little siblings, that they get to play teacher, they get to be teacher. And if they don't have little siblings, their stuffed animals or their Legos or whatever they've got, be the teacher for those guys. And it's okay to teach things that you've learned in the past, because we all need to hear things more than once. So pick up those picture books that you used to enjoy and make a little alphabet word wall if you'd like, and point to those letters and read to those stuffed animals or those little siblings, and kind of own your learning. Be the teacher and make it as fun as you want to make it. We have a little routine here in the morning where we sing a song and we pass a stuffed animal around and we talk about what we're happy about and what we've learned. We pass a little lion. We say our learning lion. What are we learning about? And we just try to make the best of it. And I know that our students at home, they're getting to do art with our art teacher at 10 o'clock in the morning. They get to listen to a bedtime story read by one of our teachers in the evening. There are ways that they can stay connected with us and see how much we love them and want to still be part of their lives. And so I hope that just kind of sinks in, how valued they are, how they're the reason why we do what we do, and that we're still trying from home to still be with them, because they're so important and valuable and loved.
I love it. I love you guys. I love their big family. My husband comes from a big family. They are so much fun. They don't think they're fun, but they're so much fun. And my little family of four, we're like, let's go to your husband's family and do something. Let's go. My husband's like, no, let's go to yours. It's so much fun. So
I was thinking about that with the quarantine. I was like, children who don't come from a big family, they're probably going to be kind of bored at points.
Or they go to their separate little, corners and stuff. Right. They don't have that.
These guys, they've got varying ages, and they're just interacting constantly. And I'm like,
I love that.
Like, we prepped well for this.
I love that you bring that spirit to your classroom. So thank you so much for all you do. And especially thank you for talking to us today. I know, this was hard to put together. You have a schedule going on, a lot of kids to take care of. So I appreciate your time.
We're gonna open the door and they're all gonna be there.
Are you through?
Y'all done?
I was wondering how you were gonna do this. This is amazing that we've gone this far and no interruptions. This is great.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for asking us. We feel very honored.
Thank you. It's been good to see you guys. It's been good to see other people.
That's right.
Yes. Amen.
I appreciate it. Take care, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.